Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to demand you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 414th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, Education Department, and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I will be host once again in this weekly series of wonderful workshops that we've had for a number of years now. And once again, we have the honor of being joined with members and support members of the Universal Council who are ready to present today's program. So let me get that program up here. And we will begin.
Yes, welcome everyone to the One Planet, and thank you for adding your energies to this creation of the One Planet, One Nation, One Race. Yes, in the physicality, we do see one planet, but we don't see one nation yet, and we don't see one race yet, especially on many of the forms that I fill out. They ask you race, but this is where we're working to in the energy dimension. And it's almost like what Mr. Keshe did in Beijing, where we saw the reactors, they were interacting with themselves, but we didn't see anything manifest. The wish was there for the manifestation and the structure. The one planet, one nation, one race is already here, but we haven't seen the manifestation until the energies interact and build up a certain strength that they need from the lower up. And then we'll see the manifestation. So we thank you for adding your energies. Again, it's the collective awareness that'll bring the change through the energy dimension. The souls will decide and we'll see the manifestation. So you're part of this, in a way, creating a structure for the future where no one goes to bed hungry and there's no war policy. So whether we see it in our own time or not, hopefully the others do better than we've done. So thank you for adding your energies. And that's where the creation starts. And this is what we fully haven't understood. But there's many ways. Again, a lot of support from different structures within the Keshe Foundation and within the universe to bring this whole process together, that we start creating these children of Mitra. Again, a new emotion and a new behavior and a new strength of the soul of the man, peaceful, that goes out into the universe. So it's quite a big project, but it's not a day job, as Mr. Keshe has said many times. So we're here for the long run, and Rick is a very good example of that. And in a way, we don't know everything that's coming, but we've been given some directions about learning to create peace for myself first. And that's probably one of the directives. We all, not putting our nose in others' businesses, but more or less trying to create that peace for myself within myself. And then we can learn what love is, perhaps, and how more of the creation process works. But thank you for contributing your energies. Again, working with the plasma does not take a lot of energy as it does in the matter state. And it's very easy to work with just through your sort of your wishes and your central energies. And a combination of it will achieve it. And of course, this has been done not only here on this planet, but it's been done across the universe in the past millions of years. So this planet is up. This is the time for it. And whether the transition is a month, a year, a century, we're just working in that direction to bring it for the future and to bring peace within ourselves, that we can actually operate in a peaceful environment. We'll start to look at life differently. Not so much about getting, but will be about giving. You know, today we like to collect things and get things and possess things, but as we know, we take what we need. So it'll be more of a giving opportunity. On this planet, we think of what we get every day. In the universe, they have a different ethos where they think, have I given enough every day? And I think the gameplay and others will start to instill this enlightenment through becoming peaceful. So thank you all for being here, adding your wishes and intentions to the whole process, and that we're all learning. Again, we're growing into this understanding at different strengths and different speeds, and working with our emotions and the rest of it. So it's all about yourself, and then expanding that to the others. So thank you for listening. If someone wants to add anything, please feel free. Dean, are you here?
Hi.
Oh, okay. I heard.
Thank you. Thank you. So beautifully you said, my dear Mark. So beautifully. So, my dear beautiful souls, with Mark, with all the beautiful souls, we welcome you. Welcome, welcome, welcome into the beauty and totality, into the beautiful, beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome, welcome to the beautiful energy of all souls in existence. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Swagatam into the beautiful energy of all the love, always dear one. Welcome. So, from the core of my heart and soul, and gratitude always to be here for all souls, to elevate all souls. Thank you. Salam, namaste, salute.
Okay, we continue on with the World Peace Treaty. And of course, this is not the end all, achieving a permanent, lasting peace on this planet, but this is just the next step to get to the next step. And of course, to get into this universal community dimension, in a way, we have to become peaceful. So Mr. Keshe has created, in a way, a paper reactor. It's called the World Peace Treaty. This is something that the world leaders will sign with a pen or with their soul. As I said, it's a reactor. And it's up to you to sort of lay down all these tools of aggression and war. And you may say, I'm not too aggressive in my physicality, but maybe some of my thoughts, some of my words are a bit too aggressive. As he said, we're peaceful, but yet we're creating a game to bring peace to the man. So there's a method, and there's probably a deeper peace than we understand. So this is about going into that. I think it's an energy dimension, not physically out into space. And in that dimension, you won't incite wars, and you won't be very aggressive, but you'll be collaborating and cooperating in that energy dimension. But of course, you can move physicality as well, which we're learning a little bit about. And this is the actual World Peace Treaty that we've signed. And again, you can just sign it with the pen of your soul, as we like to say, in the energy dimension. So we're working towards peace. We're coming closer to the Creator. And this is the idea. You're either moving closer towards the creation and understanding how the Creator exists and operates peacefully without destroying or killing anything in the universe. And we can move closer in that direction. We're not quite there. I'm certainly not there. I have many entities in my freezer, let's say, from shrimp to fish to cows and pigs and the rest. So we're just sort of trying to understand more about this process of becoming peaceful and becoming equal with all the entities in the universe. And I think at that point, you become enlightened, where you see everything as part of the creation. You're part of them, they're a part of you, and you're all part of the creation. So it's again, a new way of looking at life, and we're just approaching it. And of course, there's a lot of anomalies that are created when you start to take a different position than the others have taken. But this is exactly, I think, the work of the Keshe Foundation, is to get you to think or create that sort of dichotomy in your mind about what you see and what you want to see. This is the actual World Peace Treaty. Thank you, Rick, for bringing it up. Again, I think it's a reactor. You can think about it, you can read it, you can start interacting with it, and you can display it for others to gain some strength. And hopefully they don't need to see the physicality, but as he said, this child of Mitra, or we're creating these child of Mitra, they'll see the new emotion and the new behavior just by being in and around you, or not even next to you, where they sort of feel that you're working in this way. And again, we're waking up the collective awareness of the souls on this planet to start participating in the process. Perhaps they are, and we need to bring the physicality along as well. We know that the energy dimension comes first and the physicality is obliged to follow. So that's just some of my thoughts about the World Peace Treaty. Anyone else would like to share anything? I think we have a ways to go to get there, but the path is going to be made quite easy for us through, in a way, system assists that are being set up within the One Nation network, within the gameplay, some of the new structures that are being brought forward. But this is a beautiful start. And of course, you don't have to be 100% peaceful to sign this. It's just an intention to be more peaceful, and perhaps the enlightenment will come and show you certain areas. Again, we have the gift of the three wise men, which the Christians missed, and that was the gift of thinking, speaking, and acting good. As we heard, if you don't think wrong, then you don't speak wrong, and you don't do wrong. So there's a lot of our structure we're trying to understand. We think we're peaceful if we're not in war or physically interacting that way with another entity. But again, I think in the energy dimension, you can be quite unpeaceful. And it's up to you to sort of balance that out within your own structure. As I said earlier, it's all about finding peace for me first. Then I can expand that. So, and I have enough work to do on my own to keep myself peaceful. So thank you, and thank the Keshe Foundation for delivering this. This is, again, a new way of thinking. Remember, we're delivering an addition to man's science. We call it a new science, plasma technology, a new ethos, where the stronger doesn't take from the weaker, it actually elevates the weaker. And then, of course, a new language. And we see many new words coming out of the Keshe Foundation in the science end, but perhaps the new language is the new behavior, and that's the behavior of giving and sharing rather than taking, killing, and stealing. Again, just want to be impartial. This is just the way I see it, and that's the beauty of the foundation, where, as Mr. Keshe said, teaching someone else to do something is not enlightenment. You can figure it out for yourself, and you gain a certain amount of strength that way and confidence in yourself that you can elevate and enlighten yourself to a more permanent, peaceful condition. So if anyone else would like to add anything, feel free. I see another.
Yes, my dear.
Analyst
I want to say that
yes.
you have beautifully said that the peace starts from within you first. And this has been, I am saying, because when I signed the peace treaty, I think I was valued as a being. You know? I was so much valued as a being that I am responsible for the peace. Like I thought that time.
Shweta, you said you were so much valued? I didn't understand.
No, at that time.
Yes.
That time, I was like, amazed that I will sign the peace treaty, and I'm so much in value that because in this physical realm we are always, as a antisocial type of person I am, people don't like me. So this peace treaty has given me this kindness, this value of being, the love, the knowledge I needed. So I will say choosing according to your understanding, and I have chosen peace. And all those years learning how, like people say, be peaceful, but how to be. Here in Keshe Foundation, we learned, we are learning how to be peaceful more and more, all those years. And now, when I take any decision or even want to talk with somebody, the inner self of me, remain peaceful first. Then I can understand What is going on? What is the conflict? Is it love? Is it what? Kind of that. So it becomes now collective, kind of that. So when we are in peace, we are able to elevate all souls in peace. So the
Yeah.
choice is yours.
Yes. No, I have the same thing. Sometimes what I really want to let loose on somebody or something or whatever, but then sometimes I do, I guess, but we try to curb it. It was interesting that Mr. Keshe said even the creator has emotions of certain things, jealousy and other things that he is able to tame. So I guess we can find ways to tame that emotion, the wrong emotions, let's say, within ourselves. So yes, I feel what you're saying, Shweta.
Yes, yes. So I will say that when in earlier times, when I have just joined Keshe Foundation, or before that, I was like a angry fighter kind of a person. But jumping and what's wrong with you? What is it? Kind of that. Who are you? Kind of that. But now I understand that every soul has to be respected equally. You have to listen, being an observer. So, and this peace treaty has given me this opportunity. And I will use the word fortunate. And from all over the world, this is a call from a beautiful soul to all beautiful souls. Sign the peace treaty. Choose the path of peace. With your pen, with your soul pen, my dear beautiful soul. Thank you, my dear Mark. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mark and Shweta. Next, we have an excerpt from the last 625th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and it's about the new Enlightenment game that many of us have been playing. And this will be a 13-minute excerpt, and we'll listen to Mr. Keshe describing some of the aspects. And let me share that now.
If you look at, for example, the game, which a lot of people start playing and trying to find out, in the process of this game, it makes you to think. But that thinking targets that piece. It brings you enlightenment. How and which other way I can create peace? Not for the others, but first for me, inside me. I have to understand what love is to be able to give love. I have to understand the knowledge of the creation within me that I can lead to the creation of the children of Mitra. Otherwise, I'm like that cow, the dog, the man, and everything else around me. The difference between the man to reach that point is enlightenment. Peace within. And peace within it comes when man needs nothing from outside to make it think, forced to do things to get what is from outside. But when it's free, when it's available, when I don't have to fight for it, I become man of peace. When you're hungry, you go and hunt. If that energy is given to you, you don't hunt, you don't kill, you become man of peace. This works even for the man of the greed of power. In the future, when you play the game, in the background of it will transmit this knowledge, this field compression as part of the game through the cosmic ray connections which is added to your game system which you put on. In a way, the way we increased the fields within the seed of that grain of the wheat from 13% to 20%, by adding the environment. The way we added, we changed the compression around the head of Naomi, which led to the creation of the cell of the brain, and you don't see the difference in the brain structure, is the same. We add that through the dimension of this 10,000 units, which is going to be around, to the secondary system, which is getting added to. You're connected to the matter state, to your internet. We connect to the dimension of the field of units, but we can play with it, and through there, through playing games, through interaction with our system, we build the man of peace. You want energy without, I haven't eaten for 3 weeks. Oh, I haven't done anything. I don't need anything to do to destroy, but I make things to help, to support. It becomes part of your nature. Because in this system, we allow the connection to the internet, which is the physical side of it. And on the side, we work, we deliver, we interact with the dimension of the fields of it. In a way, your internet connection is yin and the other side is yang. And the two together make you peaceful. And then when it becomes part of the DNA, part of the structure, 24 hours spread into the system, then man, this planet, the cat, the dog, everyone will sleep happy. Because there's no hunger that I can kill something. I don't need to go hunting. I need to gather love only. The gathering of the man in the future is not anymore, I'm going to gather food to live. I'm going to gather the love, the energy, the emotion, which allows me, by giving, to receive more, to elevate, to enlighten myself in the knowledge of the creation. You're playing a game of peace, you're playing a game of enlightenment. But with it, in the background, in the other part of the system which is getting added to, by giving you independence, politics becomes irrelevant. Politicians can only exist when they can create a division of we are better than the others, where we're all better than we are together. And this is part of the structure. The what I call the world of elections will have no meaning. The world of policy, diplomacy has no meaning, because we are all part of it. We're not expecting anything. We are not any different than anybody else. And so we are in it all together to be part of it. And we are part of the society of us together. And this is the beauty of it. The end of politics, the end of diplomacy, because I have, I give, I do, and what I do goes to extend to help the others. We'll explain in a very short while. You'll see it when it comes to the 21st of March, that whatever you earn, 1,000, 200, 2 coins, a quarter of a coin, 10% of what you play, which we give you, will be taken off you and will be given to your government, Keshe Foundation, and the structure of the system. Which means if you earn 1,000, 100 will come off. 80% of it is allocated by designers to go to the government where you reside, where you carry where you live. So you cannot escape going somewhere else. And secondly, you haven't escaped because we're giving it to you freely. We put it in there that the government see the change. 1% will go as is allocated to for keeping the system going, and 1% goes to Keshe Foundation for further research and development. So in a way, by playing the game, you're financing your citizenship. And it's more than enough for a nation to live. If 1 million people play in the country and they earn 1,000, 2,000, we give that automatically to the Keshe Foundation, through the setup of the system, to your government. They see it as is needed. They see it as is supporting it. They supported the expansion of it. 20, 30, 40, 50% taxes is not reality. This is why a lot of people avoid it and a lot of people suffer with it. 9, 10%, and what do you earn from us? It'll become a norm, And then the government accepts it by itself. Because the more they encourage the people to pay, the more income they have, the more structure will give for them to do and everything else. This, what we set up, will bring many, many changes. As I said, we still need a huge amount of finances to get to it. Somehow when it comes, we receive a huge donation, we spend it straight away when it has to go. Needs investment, needs a lot of things, but we still have to keep the daily life going. You can't have just people just to play. There's nothing else happening. And we reached the point that we are financing the purchase of payments for these units to reach the 10,000 as fast as we can. Once the system is completed, we do allow it ourselves because knowledge seekers have not been there to support it fully to get to that. From every resource we have, we are even setting it up now to be done. And this will bring peace. This will bring a lot of changes. This brings, it's not just not needing money. If you understand behind it, when we're all receiving everything else we need, who needs the politicians? Who plays the politics? Who plays diplomacy? Because there's no, we are all in it. And the more we put in it, the more we gain from it. Who gets what? It becomes serving the governments of the nations. People give more of their time because it's there for it to be, and it's transparent. Any bribe is there, you can see it. A bribe has been taken or given, the contract goes with another one. So all this will stop on its own automatically. It's very, very much transparent. And we shall see. I was looking at one of the world leading politicians when he was 40, when he was 20, he was nothing. He got into politics. Today he's 82 and he's holding 10 trillion in assets. Not 1 trillion, not 1 billion. Pretending to serve a nation is lined him and his family with money beyond him. Saudi royal family has 1.3 trillion supposedly. You can imagine how much this man has robbed this nation. And he's still one because they can do. We don't need, with this system, everything is traceable. In a way, we change with the policy, with diplomacy and politics, because you are financed by your own structure through the cash coin, through the games, through everything else, to the system. It has to be that way. We cannot just be one thing. We have to bring the food on the table as much as the peace on the table, the love on the table, and the financial support that it can do. You'll see, we have started a process and we rely on knowledge seekers to support us to bring to that point, because then there is no intention of change. And there is no intention of somebody pushing it because it's to our favor.
For example, we had a question from a member of the Universal Council who was wondering how they could operate within the gaming environment and find a way to, help people or help the conditions that are occurring on the planet.
The game is at its infancy and still getting added to, and what you call it, changed or whatever, and it'll got to change and added to, and different factors brought into play. That all depends on the developers, how they do it, because people get bored, they find a way to, and that's what I was saying, explain before the teaching, a couple of thousand a year, and this, the changes will come, but in the same purpose at the end of it. Just give us time. Let us do our teething section, which is going on now till March, and after March we go to the next step of phasing. That's a lot of things needs to be done. At the moment it's hectic in the background, and not only with the design, the people who develop this, for us to fit this into the society is extremely hard. It's not going to be easy. And our target is that this 1 billion people to play this in the next few years on a regular basis for an income, and as I said, brings a lot of new things on. It's just getting there, doing it. I know the shortcuts. I know how can we teach each other what to do. Teaching each other what to do doesn't bring you enlightenment. Actually, this game always said is don't try to find a shortcut. Try to give the body, the brain, your emotion to comprehend it. It's not a game to finish and to do. And it'll be changed. Games will be changed a lot. Gradually, as we develop.
Okay, that's our excerpt from the 625th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on the Enlightenment game. Okay, let me get back to my program.
Yes, and just promoting the game to others, I think, is a strong work within the Keshe Foundation. So maybe you don't understand the technology, you can't light an LED or do something else. You can introduce them to the game of peace and enlightenment. That's a strong work within the Keshe Foundation.
Yes, good point, Mark. Something that's easy to do, and it's easy for folks to get into it. It's enjoyable, and they have an incentive in the game as you go along to continue. It feels good to play. And we'll probably get even much better as Mr. Keshe works with the technology, incorporating the technology into the gameplay. Still all in beta version, but the full version, or the available to play in its full dimensions, will be available in March 21st, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. So by participating in this whole gameplay and the rest, this is part of the One Planet, One Nation, One Race program, which will come to fruition. But within this game, it's teaching one piece, enlightening oneself, and learning the process of cooperation and collaboration. As Rick said, there's hidden technologies embedded within the game to make this. This is a reactor, another reactor. As I said, with the World Peace Treaty as a reactor, this is another reactor, and those who interact with it will become enlightened. Those who want to still continue and the fighting and struggling in the big city, well, we'll still be in the big city, but the idea here is to make life less harsh to live. So we are in the One Planet, One Nation, One Race right through this game. And of course, it's projecting a structure for the future. So this is the biggest gift he said Mr. Keshe could give humanity, was this game of peace and enlightenment, where you teach yourself to become peaceful. And that leads to the enlightenment.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
And I did introduce the game to someone, Rick, and I said it's a game about peace and enlightenment. They told me they're already peaceful enough. They don't think they need a game to play. Again, ignorance is bliss.
Does their wife or husband think that they're that peaceful being? That's the question. Yeah, we can all say we're peaceful until we're under stress, and then all the cards get played on the table, and we start to see that perhaps we have some chinks in our armor, that we're having emotional responses and reactions that we maybe didn't even expect. And depending on how well we know ourselves and it's under that stressful circumstances that it's most important to be peaceful.
Yes, sunny days are easy, but the rainy days, can you handle that?
Yes, exactly. Especially if you're in the northwest of America where it's raining. It has rained a lot this year. However, the sun has been coming out this week, finally. So, shall we move to the next topic? Or do you want to continue?
No, I think we can go right ahead, Shweta. Elizabeth?
Well, our next part is about the wishes. And after each wish is enunciated, we will have a full minute of silence in order to incorporate and contemplate the wish. Okay, I think we start out with Marinaz, if she's available.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't realize it's mine. So, we, the Universal Council, elevate the people of the planet to engage through the game of peace and enlightenment.
We, the Universal Council, give from our soul to elevate the soul of sovereign nations so that they live in peace as equals.
We, from the universal creation, as one soul, feel the suffering of the existing souls. We are feeling the peace in each existing soul, creating condition of a new time. Place what created the unicos, position the unicos, and possession soul of the creator.
We, the Universal Council, wish one universe, one race, in total peace. Our wish is our command. We are present.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls of all members in the past, present, and future of the Universal Council as one soul, as part of the totality of the knowledge of creation.
We, the Universal Council, make condition for the whole structure around the Keshe Foundation to be supporting financially and to have what they need at the point of need to bring a total change.
We, the Universal Council, give from our field strengths, empower the world leaders to negotiate and sign the World Peace Treaty, pledging their nations to a permanent and everlasting peace on this planet.
Okay, that completes our wishes. And our next part is the connection between souls with Mehran.
Yes, it's Mehran's Universal Council support for Farsi language. So it says, join the soul of man with the soul of physicality by speaking these words in these moments. I love you, my soul. I live you and I love with you. And I adore you. And see what this soul will give back to you. I think that's a good phrase I had forgotten this time. And this is these days. And that can help us to take care of ourselves, connect our soul and our body, and stay in good position. In these, I wrote, in these rainy days for people with rich lands that some greedy nations design to destroy their pacific way of life, our soul connection with our pure emotion is a dot of light, and we create before it comes the sunshine of prosperity for all, technology for all, justice and peace for all. We assume that these things are there, possible and present. So we stay accessible for our soul. We open a parenthesis just to be there, to free our souls. And we connect our souls to any being, any good intention, peace-loving being, and us, those we know, and those we don't know, to connect and together focus on peace and justice for sunny days for humanity. We know it will come. and we are sure that it will be on earth. So we imagine ourselves in this total peace and tranquility of everyone and everything around us, that we are in the level of humanity as it should be. That there is justice, total justice, and total prosperity. That the Keshe Foundation is done by the governments all over this planet. And everybody is satisfied. So we focus our pure desire on this wish. And we stay in this moment. Thank you very much. We just have to be patient, take care of our soul, our physical soul, and just learn the teachings. We have to learn before we get to the top so that we never come down anymore. And humanity is able to handle his problems. Thank you very much. So we, the Universal Council, invite the Keshe and Universal family present at the earth to unify at the soul level every time, every day at 9 PM CET, giving from our field strengths to enlighten the soul of the world leaders, to negotiate and sign the World Peace Treaty, pledging their nation to everlasting peace on earth and throughout the whole universe.
Thank you, Mehnaz, my dear. Beautiful. Thank you. And also, we invite you to connect with a member of the Universal Council to send us your questions to be answered live each week or the needs of your community. And I will say, please do join as everything is, in the newness, updating in the process. So everything is in the process, my dear, of transmuting, and soon will be everything transmitted. So please, if you have any questions, but we are all knowledge seekers, learning, growing together. If any question or anything to share, or you are so welcome in the Telegram group. please join the Telegram groups of different languages of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. Have your say, have your share of love, peace, and abundance. Have your share of all that is. So this is the point of the enlightenment that we join together, have this discuss of peace, and of course playing the game of peace and enlightenment going forward. And welcome to the Telegram group. Um, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us as one soul, dear beautiful soul. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salut.
Next, excuse me, next I have a video from the 576 Knowledge Seekers Workshop, and it's about joining the Universal Council. Become a Universal Council member.
There's something which I should have made an announcement. As we are structuring in a new development of the Keshe Foundation, is worldwide application and implication. As we set up the structure for Universal Council, a number of Universal Council members have become old and they reach the age of 60, and they serve during the 60 years they are there till 61. They to run the functionality of the operation of the what we call energy dimension, the Universal Council members, if you want to become, please consider and let your soul decide of any languages around the world, as these will be announced very soon internationally, and we expect the souls to serve. And if it's from the knowledge seekers who understand the technology with dimension of the soul, you can apply to be added to and become a member of the Universal Council. The Earth Council is appointed by the Keshe Foundation on the grounds of true structure of the nationality, understanding the culture, that there is no prejudice by physical dimension of the borders. And so if you feel your soul is there to serve humanity in expansion and the growth of it, just apply for it at the Keshe Foundation, or send the email to info@keshe.foundation, say I would like to be a member of the Universal Council. We receive this regularly, and now we going to expand this very rapidly due to what is to come and what is to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear. I also want to add that please do join. Welcome to Keshe Foundation. Welcome to join the Universal Council membership and the Universal Council support membership. And this is so much needed this time. Come from wherever you are, as there is no boundaries anymore. So come together to become a servant of humanity, indeed. And well, this is the time, the only time. So thank you. Please do join. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you so, so much.
Okay, thank you, Sweta. Next, we have excerpt from the last 625th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, called "The Whole Universe Starts with One Ray." Okay, I'll play that now. It's be about 15 minutes.
If you listen to the last week's teaching, I explained that the rays of the sun, they, in their interaction, create conditions that is up to now unknown to us. we just consider it as a cosmic ray. As we said in the other part of the teachings, we have a creator's ray and we have a cosmic ray, where the cosmic ray comes from the creator, from interaction of its fields with its own environment, with its own effects, with its own capability and possibilities. If you remember last week, I explained to you, if this is, I have to use a bigger line, if this is the ray of the creator, you have points of interaction, what we see in what we call in the process, where these points of interaction, for example, I try to put in as a different color that you can see as a pink. These interactions come, generates through, and in a way, this is the most hardest way to get this thing done. So it's going backwards and so forward. So you see that you have 3 points of interaction of the fields of the creator. But these rays at the point of interaction create a specific condition. And that is very much depending on the strength of the field at the point of interaction, leads to creation of a stronger field. It's 2 lights coming together, even though it's the same light, because it's not reflected, it's a field of itself interacting with itself. So these pink spots become stars. They become point of interaction of the fields of the creator, center of galaxies, center of universes. In so many ways, when egg and sperm come together, create the same thing. They create a light, they create a stronger field that reflects actually the creator, because these are the fields of the origin. Even though we ate the food, the energy of the food became part of the egg and the sperm, still follows that line, because it's embedded in it, it's part of the connection, it's what keeps everything together. But as I explained last week, we have what we call the fields of vibration. These fields vibrate as they're going from one place to another. They have, and they interact, and they vibrate. And the fields of vibration creates a different condition. And when these fields of vibration of one side interacts with the other one, again, you get the creation of new dimension, which means you get the creation of matter. With the interaction of the origin, you get the sun. With the interaction of the field of the vibration, you get the matter state. But this field, these waves, have one secret with them. Because of the rotation dimension of the plasma rotating as the original, which came from the creator, they create compression. Where the 2 origin come together, there is no compression. Is an amalgamation, is interaction or friction with each other, which leaves one to carry on. With the what we call waves, you create a compression, you create pressure. We see this, for example, on the sea, on the oceans. When the ocean is flat, there is no wind, you have flat surface. Origin, the water is still there. When you get change of dimension, wind, pressure, you get the ocean to create its wave. It creates a compression which hits the wall, it hits the ship, it hits whatever. Now it's not the water anymore, it's a force. Then it creates its own condition, its own creation. So we see, if we understand this, that the impression and the compression of the environment leads to creation of what we call like satellites, start of what we call planet system. The planetary system, what we are used to, what we see as, what we are considered to be a normality in the world of creation. So when our scientists in the future look at these environments, when our scientists in the future understand the difference between the original and the ones which came from the wave, from the fields of the waves interaction, in conjunction with the compression, which leads to creation of frequency, then man will understand how to conquer the universe. This is very much, if you look at it, your soul sits in the center. And then as it radiates with the interaction of the fields of the wave or compression or the condition of your cell leads to creation of other cells in that environment. This is why you always have the liver with the same cells in the same position. It's not that that cell decides its position. It's the environment of the other cells dictate that cell always stays in that position, because the compression from the other cells plus the wave from them, what we call creation of frequency, leads to creation of the manifestation of that cell in that position. This is, if you understand this part, this is why we managed to remake the cells of the brain of Naomi. We didn't do anything. We just put cancers outside. But with it, we created the condition of the wave. But in that GANs, there were materials which mimics the condition of the environment of the brain. We saw this in Corona. The energy of the virus mimicked calcium. And so we see calcification in the brain, we saw calcification in the lung and the rest of it. But the soul was still giving the same field. So the life in the universe consists of two waves, two fields. One is the field energy of the creator, and one is the field energy of the wave, which is created by its environment according to the motion of the fields of the creator in that space. This field, the original fields, what I call the creator fields, itself originally comes as a singularity which in its position and condition becomes a plasma by interaction with itself. Then it becomes a three-dimensional, in a way, it spreads across a ball than actually a single line. That in that process leads to creation of dynamic spherical shape in the shape of the universe, shape of the plasma of an atom, shape of an electron, shape of everything else. And then, for example, we see even on Earth, the top and the bottom is not exactly the same. The planetary system in the matter state have a bit of a flat top. It's not fully circular. We see this in the shape of the Milky Way. We see this where this divergence of the thing keeps a spherical shape. It has to transfer its energy of the wave And that's why we see hexagonal shape on the skin of the man, or pentagon shapes on the skin of man, north pole of planets and the south pole of the planets. This field, what we see in the shape, is actually transferring the field waves which the entity itself cannot hold. In a way, in the future, very simply, you can do something very simple, and that is create what I call a hexagonal shape, and with it, create the shape of the object, as it happens with our planetary system in all of the dimension and direction of the universe. This is how our skin takes shape. Our skin is a combination of 3 nano layers: the inner nano layer, skin, the middle, and the top. And then the pressure of the fields and the source of the inner layer, which is connected to the source, to the soul of the man, in interaction with the inner field layer, leads to creation of the shape of your skin. If you look at it, it's not flat, it's hexagonal or pentagon. Now, you can create, if you understand this, in the future of time to come, for man to create any shape craft. You do not need to be necessarily this shape. This is why we see, when we look at space and we see UFOs, it's like a cigarette, which is a different type, or you can make any shape object. To understand this, go to the patent. This is explained in detail how you can make walls of a building inside using creation of magnetic fields, where we use the vibration, we use the compression to create that wall using the origin of the fields in its development. This is how we create boundaries. This is how we create the size. This is how we create condition of the motion of an object within an environment. If you understood this, and you can go a step further, when you travel in a space, you have any shape you like. You create the magnetic gravitational fields of the dimension into the position in conformation of your reactors. So you pull yourself into what you have created. Then you can live anywhere in space, because you create the mother field and you allow the compression and the wave of the fields of to create the gravitational field without the matter state. This is a very advanced technology. It might take man centuries to understand it, and it might take man a few years to understand. But this is how you dictate, direct yourself into a position in the empty spaces of the universe, using not only the magnetic fields of what we call the system, but using the fields, the what we call the waves of the fields with their compression.
Okay, that completes our excerpt from the 625th Knowledge Seekers Workshop.
Wow. It's the beginning of the knowledge of understanding.
Yes,
Wow.
the whole of the universe starts with one ray.
Yeah. Yes, so it's the beginning of the knowledge understanding, is correct, Rick? Shall I
Yes,
start?
please go ahead,
Okay.
Stefania. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm Stefania representing the. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, loud and
Okay,
clear.
done.
Great.
Perfect, perfect. So yeah, thank you to be here, Rick, because I know it's very late where you are. I didn't realize. Thank you
Oh
so
no,
much.
it's quite early actually. It's
Quite early.
8:30 in the morning.
Okay, good, good. I'm not really good. I should play more the games of peace because really help you with the geographic and understand where everyone is. Um, yes, so yeah, go back to the 525. I mean, the piece you listen. I don't know how many times I recommend you to listen because it's super deep, but it says so many important things. The workshop of last Thursday, it's connected of the is the second part you can say of the one before, no? It's very deep because Mr. Keshe in this workshop. Um, it's super important workshop, and he said it as well. He said that with this workshop, um, he hope that we all understand it. So I really recommend us to go over and over it because it's really important that you ask to yourself why you're here. So you have to ask to yourself which is your main reason that you are here with us in this workshop, because that answer it will then push you to then do many other things, and we will also make you appreciate more the teaching of Mr. Keshe, because so yes, so if your intention, for example, it's to leave everyone in harmony, everyone together, don't struggle, and having peace, no wars. So there are lots of stuff we have to understand as knowledge, because more we understanding, more we become aware, and more we can do and use these tools that we have, no, inside us. And this workshop, it's really going to explain you that. It's really going to explain you all the power that we have inside, and where we are, where we come from. So the workshop, the last workshop, Mr. Keshe is really going into details. Like for me, like maybe I never noticed it before. Maybe spoke about it before, but this is the really first time I become aware of these differences. So he really go back to start of this one ray where everything come from, and that ray he call him the fields of the creator. So he also dividing the cosmic ray in the ray of the cosmic the ray of the creator, and the cosmic ray, no? So and the fields of the creator, as we understood many times before, he make the example of the ocean. So the ocean, the water in the oceans. Okay, you got this ocean, the water, that are the fields of the creator. And or you can call him the fields of the origin, where we come from. And then he make a distinction with the fields of the creating from vibration. So for me, it was the first time I actually noticed this difference of the fields of the vibration. So really, if you see in the draw, no, in the draw, gonna have a look this draw many times. So in the draw, you see the infinitive loops, no? And where the loop, you have the cross of the loop, he call him, it's like, so the one ray, the field of the creator, when it's turned itself, when it cross with itself, it start to, depending of the strength of these two, of the same rain crossing, it will then dictate the, you can say, also the containment. So if the size of the containment. So if you remember also the example of the waterfall, that really helped me a lot. So you make the example of the also the soul of the man, that you got or what creating the center of the galaxy, the center of the universe. That crossing is made with the ray of the creators, and the strength of that crossing, it dictate how. If you think about the fountain, how far the water of the fountain gonna go up before to going down to itself, and then create another junction, no? So, or you can say the shape of the infinitive loops. So that ray coming back and then crossing each other with itself, it creating the size of the container. Then will become that the crossing of the creator of the ray of the creators can be the sun, can be the center of the universe, center of the galaxy, can be the center of can be the soul of the man. You know, it's the same water, it's the same fields, but just different field strength. And so when they create this container, because if you remember this infinitive loop, the fields crossing each other, they will create a lot of containers. Those containers, they will create in a different type of fields. So that means a different type of dimension. And it's again, those inside these containers, you will have those fields that are vibrating, and explain the vibration. And it's a very, and the, so the vibration, it's very, is a characteristic of the plasma. So when the fields are contained, they're creating these inner fields to interact with each other. And because of the direction of those fields, we start to then vibrate. And this vibration will create, you call them fields of vibration. From these fields of vibration, depending of the compression of those fields, and you make an example on when you're in a lift, and you have, depending how many people you have in the lift, they will create a different compression inside of this lift. They will create a different space, different position between the people. This will dictate the it will dictate the type of frequency. So Mr. Keshe in this workshop really going to explain also what are the cosmic ray, what are the creation ray, what are difference between the fields of the creation, the fields of the vibration, and the vibration has the quality of interact and be compressed because the fields are contained, and therefore they then will lead to the formation of the matter states or formation of frequency. And it makes example like you said, like the ocean. The ocean is flat, but if you can dictate changes in the environment, then you can and you can create like a compression. Then you of these fields, then you can dictate, you can create these waves, and how much is compressed, you will decide the force that will be, and you make an example of this wave keeping going against like a wall. So from away from you will form like a force. So force is another type of wave of fields that then will lead to a frequency that will lead to a type of material you want to materialize. So in this workshop is going to tell you how to materialize things, how to also use the mother fields to decide the environment. They will decide then what you want to create. Okay, and it's very important. If you remember, he said in the very last for space travel, he really tells us all this in many different ways. He make the example um, of the eggs and the sperm, getting together and creating these two fields of creation. You can create the soul of the man. The soul of the man, it will have a certain field strength that will create a specific structure, and then the fields containing the structure, they then will create in relation to the position, the compression of those fields, and the direction will then create different type of organs, different type. So it's very, very interesting. You can link to many things. You can link to health, how to recreate organs. You can. So that's why I explain about the what happened with Naomi. With Naomi, it was really good. So the skull is a container. So he said the skull didn't change. So the only things we did with Naomi, we introduced the guns, the guns around the skull, and by putting the guns around the skull, this is only things we did. We then changed the environment. They just create this specific way because the guns they use were mimics the brain structure inside. And for them it was very easy job to do to reconstruct a brain of a person like happened with Naomi. And then the same things you will understand better also how Corona worked, because of he managed to mimics like the Corona mimics the fields of the calcium, and he managed to change the environments, so to then change condition of the Corona situation. So it really, really, really asked us to really understand this workshop, because then it goes on the mother's fields, how you can use the mother fields to, like I said before, to create the place where you want to go into. How to create walls, how to create the space between the walls, what to materialize. He said if you have hexagonal shapes, so you go into different shapes, like for example, the hexagonal shapes, how to you can do by recreating that container, how you can then materialize what you want inside this container. So there is a lot to to re-listen, re-understand. But it's very, very interesting if you are want to learn how to transmute or travel into space or living in any part of the universe. There are all essential information. Or if you want to materialize everything, and so it's very, very interesting workshop. It goes more. It goes the three layer of the skin. Is there's really going to have a listen. And then I'm sure I forgot stuff, but I really recommend you to because you're also going to make the comparison between AC and DC. So DC you can say is the sea with no waves, and AC you can say the sea with the waves. So if you really learn how to use them, one and the other, it's literally the key to create everything, to do everything. You also go into also the importance of the emotion, because how to this also has influence on the type of waves. It goes also talk about again the perfect child, Mitra, how you can create an environment of the environments. For example, have a child without without the same way we do it here. Through the matter states, you create the child, but actually through energy, you can create the condition of then create a child, and like the perfect child, like the child of Mitra. There are really, there are a lot, you answer lots of questions, but we really need to understand it properly. Yes, also the fact that the creator rays are the one who contain the all, the totality, you know. But nothing can happen unless it can connect to these original fields. Okay, then there is more to the first part. Just go and read it, and then we have a pause. We're going to talk also about the games of peace, how it's going to develop. But we talked before with Mark. I'm sure we're going to talk more in the future as well. How it's important for us to learn this game, and how this can help our government to function better, and how we can become more independent by playing this game. There are a lot of questions, very good question in the second part. The first part the first question was from Eddie, and it was about emotion. He asked again a very important question: how we can influence, have a say on our emotion. And Mr. Keshe said, "Look, when you were very, very small, you know exactly what to do with your emotion." So it's not like something that we didn't learn how to do it. We do it all the time, but we just need to become more aware of how to use them to our advantage. Do not get so involved passively or being a victim of our emotions, but actually use them in a way that to move, use them in a more structured way. Don't get personal with them, yeah, but learn how to use them. So I think maybe you will understand different things about that question, but it's very, very important to understand emotion and how we can use them to our advantage. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, you went really. You touched a little bit the situation in the world. It's very a very delicate situation, and there are a lot of changes happening at the moment, and we have to be strong and keep going, and trust that everything will sort itself out. But definitely, he said that the politics will become part of the past. Once we will learn to work together and to collaborate with one another, and then the government will become obsolete, and the politics will be obsolete. So this is just a temporary situation, but eventually we're gonna get rid of all the things that we don't need. Um, so this can be learned also by playing the games of peace. Then going into my question, but my question was not understood, but the answer they give me was actually pretty good. So it's going to talk again about the layer of the skin and the space, the gaps. So the waves, the type of waves we detect the space gap, and the space gap. Very interesting. It talk about how you can change your color of your skin and all this stuff. Okay, I need to be a little bit fast. So that is also important question. You go into the skin. Why people have black, for example, black people, why they have white patches, and why these white patches they don't change every 30 days from because the skin change every 30 days. It's really interesting because he said certain things have been dictated by structure that have been um, built from maybe from your past, from your past lives as well, from your ancestors. That's why certain things they don't change every. That's why certain things in the skin they don't change every 30 days, because they are much more rooted, structured. But again, if we understand emotion, if we understand that everything works, we can change that too. So, so going more into how frequencies are created, so really interesting, and the differences of the motion, and what else? What else? See if we can. Yeah, I think I said most of everything. I'm sure I forgot lots of stuff, but I don't want to stay hour and hours maybe repeating myself. Just go and listen in 625 Knowledge Seeker Workshop. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything. Okay, so yes, so we can maybe go forward, but just remember we got two types of fields. One's is confined and create vibration. The other one they just keep going. So when they crossing, they just overlapping, and the fields, the matter field, the fields of the creation are the one that creating the stars and the center, the center of the universe, the galaxy, and the other fields that creating the planets, what we can see, the satellite, whatever we can see. Very interesting. I really love this workshop. Is anyone want to say? Rick, have you got anything to say? Or Mark?
I think you pretty much covered it, Stefania, but maybe Mark has something
Yeah.
to
No,
say.
just to say that means we're all capable of the process of creation. So where I know I need one creator ray, but where do I get the creator ray? And then I need a few cosmic rays. How do I find these cosmic rays? And what do I add? A pinch of frequency into it, and then a few waves, and maybe some compression. One of the things that made me think of you, Stefania, was if I go to the transcript, he was talking about this compression of fields. He said, you have it within you, you can do it with your soul. But he said, doing it with the brain is much easier. Someone asked the question, how can we control this compression of plasma of ourselves? Will we be able to do what we can do? Is that again connects to the emotion? You have to do it within your soul. Within the brain, actually, is much easier. Now, I remember you saying the brain is not involved. I always thought the brain could be involved in this process, but he said it's much easier to do this compression within the brain than even the soul.
I can say, for me, it's because you know why I say that. I understand that because so if you see the structure inside the brain, it's different from the structure inside the body. So that's why he said that the brain, it's less fixed. It's more jelly, no? But the fields of the souls are free, are because are the mother fields. So they if you look on the draw he made is the crossing in the of the infinitive loop of the creator fields. So they are free. They keep going. So
Yeah,
that's why it's easier to do it in the brain because the brain is contained by the skull.
he said you just don't get up and go somewhere. You create a need to do something. So that creates a certain pressure or compression on your brain that triggers need water, trigger need love, trigger I want to go out.
Yes, but also then you go different level of it. Like you will have the level of the compression of the fields. For example, if the motion is more at the physical way, physical, so need of drinking, needs of going in the supermarket, or you will have different emotion, the emotion of the creator, the emotion of the soul of the man. So it's much higher. So it's and Mr. Keshe, that we don't even know most of them.
Right.
So that's
And
why we
he,
connect to the commandment to kind of understand that type of fields interaction, you see? So
yes.
so
Mhm.
you have different qualities.
And he said this knowledge of compression will be a part of the gameplay. And this will bring you one step closer just by playing the game. You will get a certain understanding, maybe not all of us the same and everything, but about how to use this compression
Yeah.
by playing the game.
Yeah, you
So,
know,
mhm.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
because for example, the game bring you to the point of cooperation between one another. So already the set of mind is different. So it's like when you said, "Oh, I want to go in the supermarket." So you go out already with the intention to go into the supermarket to get the food. But I can have the same intention if I want to cooperate. I will have one specific set of intention of working. Instead, if I want to do a competitive game, like now the game of wars that you see, or many children or many people plays, no, that set up another different type of emotion or compression of the fields. You know, so it's very interesting because he talk about that the direction, and I'm wondering if in what creating the wall as well. So I'm wondering if the direction, the compression, all that also dictate if you're working with the mother's field, if you're working with the vibration fields. Um, so, for example, if I think cooperative, if I think competitive, so yes, I don't know if certain things are fixed, like for example, in the Viligo, if you remember, he said why some people go white patches, and why these white patches in the black skin don't go away after 30 days if the skin regenerating every 30 days. Why that's still there after 30 days is because that structure is much deeper, therefore is maybe more connected with the RNA, and therefore it goes back to the ancestors. So there are different level of structures. Some you can change. So I think you can change all of them. It's all depend where you connect it to. That's why if you connect to the totality, then you go into the mother fields and you will be able to have a different result. That's why if I play the game of peace and work as totality, we work as together, as cooperation, we helping one
yes.
another. Yeah, so you have completely
That's what he
different
was trying to
outcome.
emphasize. Through the interaction with our system, we're going to start to build this man of peace.
Mhm. Yeah, it's all helping us. I mean, I think Mr. Cash has been very, very clever to really find many different ways to help us to arrive to the same point. But the most important things on our side, that's why we go back to the peace treaty. It's very important to uh, understand who you are, what you want to do, where do you want to go, so for example, we all come in here weeks and weeks and weeks, years and years and years, because we have clear that we want to have world peace. We want to have a peace, so we want to find peace. So so we will arrive there because we got clear where we want to go, and then Mr. Ketch is really good to make us see the things in different perspective, and slowly take us there. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Thank you.
Ayun.
Next, we have time for transmutation with Moshfet.
Hello, everyone. This is Mosfeg. Today I'm going to bring up some pictures that I drew in another knowledge seekers workshop in Bengali language, and I've been talking about the process of creation in the last 4 or so One Nation, One Planet, One Race meetings, and I am using this image. Okay, so hang on a second. Let me unmute. Sorry, the speaker came on. Let me.
So we're not hearing you right now, Moshfek. I think you're doing something in the background there.
Yeah, I usually turn off my video.
You got it. You got it.
I mean, I turned off my.
He had it. He had it.
I'm reconnecting because I have my phone and my computer. I'm using the computer to show the images, so I think the two are interfering with each other. So hang on a second.
I think you're using the matter feeds, but you need to use the vibration feeds as well.
Hang on a second, because I joined in as a different user, so I have to switch user to the what do you call it? The Bengali, me as the UCS member. So that's one thing I had to change. That was the change. I think this should fix it. Let's see. Okay, that's good. And so, as I was saying, I used this image of a beautiful woman creating a dress and lace that is at the edge of the dress. So the dress is the emotional expression, and lace, emotional expression in the field. So it's a field interaction that we perceive as emotion at the level of soul of physicality interacting with the soul of man, at the same time soul of physicality interacting with the physicality. Now, this mirrors what Mr. Keshe is talking about with the addition of one ray. The creator building the one ray to create everything from this one ray. How and I have also talked about the creation of waves. In plasma world, as we know, we only have DC. From DC, we have to go to AC to have frequencies and waves. So I talked about that as well with diagrams last time or the time before. Now let me show some images, and I will share my screen from my computer. So you can see something. It's essentially a redrawing of what Mr. Keshe was drawing, but with a few more colors here and there. So this one ray, starting from the left and turning around because of the environmental condition and situation, and interacting with the original. It's the same ray, but it's crossing. At the crossing point, we know how when two plasmas cross, they can form two rays cross. They can form plasma, and we have seen videos of in more three-dimensional looking videos where we see these balls. So where I drew this pink circle and the yellow circle, those are plasmas forming as a result of these interactions of rays. So the rays interact, two or more rays interacting can create plasmas. We are well aware of this for a long time. And so this one ray, instead of thinking in terms of two rays, it's one ray meandering through space and coming together, meeting its original, and creating these plasmas. So this is one kind of interaction that we see. And then there is the other kind of interaction of the waves. So if you look at the right of the picture, we have this loop situation, and the two edges, between two edges, there can be fields. The two edges, although they're apart, the top and the bottom, and I have these green circles at the top and to mark the place. And because of the edges, and they're adjacent to each other and they have commonality, a wave can form between the two parts of the same structure. That is, in this case, that's the loop. And these waves are, and when you make reactors, the reactors, and this I have done, you create a reactor and you put it, and you as you move away from the reactor, your sensation of the fields changes, and you see this sensation of fields building up and then going down. It has a periodic nature to it, just like wave. So this is essentially two boundaries. Because of the boundaries, the fields, there is a bit of compression. Compression means the field bouncing off some other things around. It can be walls. In the case where I was doing it, it was in my home, and you can feel the fields changing with the period. There is a specific distance associated with it. You can sense it with your hand. And same reactor, if I moved it to another room, the periodicity changed. And it's very interesting. So because the compression in a smaller room is different from the compression in a bigger room, because the environment has changed. So this happens all at the field level. There is no physical manifestation. You just sense it with your hand. Our palms are particularly sensitive. Actually, it's fairly easy. Other parts of the body, you have to be a little more attuned, but palm of the hand is a useful sensory device, so to speak. So this is one of the interesting thing about the field. Now, if you compress it further, and this is what I talked about a lot, and so although it's one ray, but there is a little more to it than just one line, because when you flow current through a wire, it creates magnetic field around it. It's the same with the ray. So when the first time in the first image that Mr. Keshe was drawing, he drew a line, but instead he erased the line and then started drawing a spring type of structure, because the field is actually, there is a rays flowing, but the field is also getting created around it. So this is something that we have to understand. So this spreads much like the field, the magnetic field a piece of wire creates as current, because the regular household electric current flows. So the same is true in case of other kind of flows. And I talked about what Mr. Keshe talked in terms of flat surface on the ocean, the flat ocean surface, and then when there is wind, there is wave. So this wind situation, I explained last time how we can create from DC a wave by using the analogy of two walls. And Mr. Keshe talked about the same thing with ocean waves falling, hitting the wall, and the wind providing the other end of the force. So you have to have the two ends, one pushing one way, the other pushing the opposite way. So let me kind of do an animation here, sort of poor man's animation. So let's say a flow is happening from the left to from the right to the left. And I will move the walls, and I will show you how the wave is forming. So if I put this wall here, and a flow is happening from left to right, the pressure builds up. So from this midpoint, pressure is building up, and then I move the wall back a little. Then all of a sudden there is a pressure release, and the flow, just like in the mountain water flows, the field diminishes in value as the wall has moved. And then then instead of keeping the wall here, I move the wall here. Again, the pressure builds up. So this is from DC, essentially a flat line, to up and downs movement of the field. And this is where you get the AC. Now, and then you have the compression. This is one kind of compression. And then when you go to material structure, what happens? I copied the same wave, and let's call it in the bottom in brown color. The original is green. Now, if we if the reflection of the wave is such that it's of the opposite value. Now, let's see, let me do it this slightly differently. Hang on a second. Now the reflected wave, which is the brown wave. Now if the reflected wave is just the opposite of the original wave, what happens? It cancels the value. It cancels each other, and you get a flat line again. And that's your calm ocean that Mr. Keshe was talking about. Now, on the other hand, if we have a situation where they exactly match, so the one below is supporting the second one, then we have essentially between the two walls we have a static structure, which is like let me draw it. Static structure. I'll use a different color. Very long peaks and troughs. So, and I'll pick a different color. So let's call it red. So what is the? It's the stroke color. Why is the color not changing? Okay, this pink wave, it's just the addition of the two waves together, but it's held together and it's static. The dynamism of the field is no longer there. It's made static by this compression of the two walls. And that's your matter state. When we have made the field, it's still dynamic, but it's held together in such a way that it looks static. That's your matter state. So, and this is the kind of structure that I was showing you with the picture of the gold and the iron using field ion microscopy. So, and it's not just one wave, but a collection of them, because the different types of wall in there, and that creates your matter state, or be it gold or be it iron. So the compressions have, in what Mr. Keshe mentioned as compression, I talked about the same thing as wall moving this way and that way, and I just tried to relate the two together once again. And as you can see, there are similarities in what I've been talking with what Mr. Keshe is saying. The interesting part here, of course, the outstanding part here is it's the one ray that's doing it. And it has all the energies and all the information necessary to create a complex structure. And that we'll get into further as we go, but it's not that difficult as you are understanding now. And so we can create the emotion, and that's still the dress, and then we can create the lace. That's the material manifestation. But interesting thing is that Mr. Keshe talked about one ray. In my example, it is one thread that's making the dress and the lace. And it's originating with the beautiful woman that created. So instead of one ray, it's one thread woven in different ways and different, and it creates different motions and beauty as it weaves its way through creation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear Moshe. So beautifully explained. We have this teaching in Bangla knowledge seeker workshop also. So beautiful and really. And yes, of course, the compression breakthrough, I will say. The whole world, the planet, all living beings, even the cosmos is going through this compression. And well, I will say this stage is very, the stage is all set. And this compression is coming to a breakthrough. With a breakthrough, as we are experiencing, the whole planet is moving. The Maya, the illusion is also a kind of collapsing. And of course, many galactic beings are here. The motherships are here. We are being guided from years for this compression breakthrough. And we can see the oceans moving, the mountains moving, the tectonic plates moving, and we can see many, uh, well, I will say entities coming out from the sun. As I have seen this in 15 years ago. I've started seeing this. Now it's the compression breakthrough. Even the monad of each living being, every individual, every living being is going to experience this newness, this compression breakthrough. Thank you for explaining. So meditative. You explain all this in so much beauty and totality, my dear Moshfik. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, I think now we have the announcements about the cosmic ray transmission sessions and other new products from the announcements from Mr. Keshe from the last workshop. This will be about a 5-minute video, and I'll play that now. Okay, hopefully the sound will play. I'm not able to select the share sound button for some reason now, but I'll play it. If there's a problem, let me know in the chat or otherwise. Here we go.
There's no sound.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
I've gotten into that position before. I don't know how I've gotten out of it, and I wasn't sure why it wouldn't click, but I've experienced that as well. But I haven't seen that in a while, but I don't remember how I got out of it.
It must be, it happened right after the sharing, when I took over the sharing. Maybe I have to share differently. Let me try to share whiteboard first and see what happens. And then I'll go back. Let's see, let's try to share this. Still not able to click the share sound button.
Shweta, can we have some direction?
Let's see here.
Me?
Yes, maybe we'll just talk about the transmission session. And as Mr. Keshe said, it's not a transmutation session anymore. These are the monthly sessions to help keep the Keshe Foundation free and to enhance the development of the entire structure. Again, exactly what is being developed and how or fine-tuned, we're not privy to that knowledge, but we're just paying to allow ourselves to be studied and see how things are interacting. I was just thinking that perhaps it's like he said we're going to use the knowledge of the what we've gained from the interaction of the 3I and do some sort of transmission of emotion or something along that line. Again, it's rather vague to me, but I was thinking maybe whatever they spread was meant to interact over the next 30 centuries. So perhaps he's going to take that uncompressed what was meant like a time release aspirin and compress it to deliver it in a much shorter period, that the whole process will be sort of shortened in a way for more elevation. But that's what I was just thinking. But the main reason, allow the Keshe Foundation to develop and not go out and search for millions or billions to find out and tie our hands and the rest. And of course, you may receive a gift. And of course, as Mr. Keshe said, he can create the fields to make one laugh, all of us, or feel the sadness and the rest. And of course, we heard examples that it was tested in sort of crowd control, where people in a way forgot, or their physicality became satisfied and the soul became satisfied, and they just walked away with their physicality. And that's been tested. So again, this is an emotion or a transmission. Is that the idea? Transmission session. And of course, there's a 3-part series, and you don't have to be in any of the other sessions to participate in that, but mainly it keeps the Keshe Foundation free. Plus, you can also buy a ticket for someone else if you are able to. So thank you for listening. And anyone else want to add to this cosmic ray? And of course, this is also going to be embedded into the game as well. So it has a much far-reaching effect than we're privy to, I think, at this point.
Mark, I'm going to go out and come back in. I think it's the only way to reset it.
Perhaps that's the way.
When I come back in, you can make me host again. And we have a question from Ike in the Q&A. Maybe you can just open the microphone with Ike and Moshfek, and they can have a conversation about the interception of the cosmic ray and whatnot. Maybe Moshfek could even share his screen. That could work out good. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Take your time, Rick. We'll be here.
Okay, see you shortly.
Shall we read?
Master, can you read it? I'm kind of in a noisy place right now. So if you can read that question, Master, that's for you, please. If you can, appreciate it.
Okay, I'll read the question from the chat.
Maybe I can I read it for everyone?
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay, question from Ike. Mr. Keshe said the creator ray intercept with itself in 3 points, seems infinity loop movement, but field's direction move in 2 ways, plasma field direction, infinity loop direction. So does the creator ray also move in plasma field direction? I remember Mr. Keshe saying a field has a directional movement, but a plasma has a directional and rotational movement, if that helps at all. Mosvek or Ike? Also, does that interception point occur because of the reflection of itself, ray, moving to interception? Yes, that's what he put. And take it from there and see if you can interact.
Yes. So it's the rays moving in three 3D field, so 3D space. Think of it that way. And in 3D space, you have certain points with respect to which you can observe the field motion. Whether it's coming to you, that's the gravitational, and whether it's moving away from you, that's magnetic. And that's true for rays as well. But as I was talking about in the transmutation section, when there is a flow in any direction, there is a rotating motion that forms around it. And this is the nature of any flow. And as it is true with our electrical current. And if you can create that rotating, if you don't have current in your wire, if you create the rotating magnetic field around it, it will create the current in the wire. And that's how you create electromagnets. You essentially wrap a coil around a piece of iron and you pass it. Essentially, you have the coil motion around it, and then the fields of the iron molecules align themselves and become electromagnet. Now that we understand the fields, it's very easy to talk about magnets. So for any motion, there is the motion of the ray moving in 3D space. And then there is this rotational motion around it. And if you want to see example of gravity cancellation effect, you see those dust devils that forms during windy days, and they lift up leaves and dust and everywhere, and this is by rotational motion. When you create rotational motion, there is a pull from the surface upwards, and that's your dust devil. So gravity cancellation example has been around us from the very beginning. We just, since our math could not handle it, we pretended that we didn't see it, but it has always been there. So it's the same story, whether it's on the surface of the planet Earth or somewhere in space. So I am not sure whether I answered your question, but I'm just relating this rotational motion and the motion in 3D space. And one, you can think of this ray going through space in a certain direction and changing its course along the way because of the other fields in the environment that is affecting the ray, or as it interacts with the ray. So the twisting and the changing of the direction is because of the interaction or pressure, field pressure on the ray that's moving through the space. Is it somewhat clear, or did I miss the mark, or is that the answer?
Yeah, that's something to work with.
Okay, great, thanks.
Okay, apparently I still have a sound problem because I still can't click the share sound box. So I'm going to have to restart my whole computer, not just the Zoom here. So I'm going to go out for a minute, actually a few minutes, and come back in again and try it again. I haven't had this problem before in the last 2,000 workshops, but There's always something different.
Yes, I've seen it before.
Yeah, so let me do that, and you can take over, Mark, and share something. I'm not sure what you'd like to share there.
Well, I'm just on the iPad. I really don't know how to work this one that way. Maybe someone else has something, or
Maybe Moshfegh can share something and continue the discussion there.
We can go to needs and wishes if there are no other questions from anybody else.
Well, if somebody can host that, yes. Otherwise, oh, you mean just
Okay,
then I can't play the ending video either.
Yeah, so why don't you go? I mean, we can talk a little bit while you do your 2-minute thing, and so
sure.
So yeah. So is there anything else in the chat that we need to address? If not, I can talk about something else, a little bit more.
Okay, if someone could put some kind of window up, otherwise it'll be a black screen that shows up for a few minutes.
Okay, what I can do is I can bring up the image that I was showing.
Yeah. Okay, you'll figure it out. I'll be back shortly.
And Mr. Windhead said, I feel the workshop has changed in shape and strength. It's nice to feel and hear different strength. By Ashok. I'm not sure what that means. Perhaps that was a person in the attendees list.
Okay. Okay, you see the screen? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In the last knowledge seekers workshop, so this the material dimension, just like if you how do you create a complex structure from a simple interaction?
So the idea of waves, frequencies, compression, and vibration comes in that dimension. I thought he said when the creator is interacting, there's no compression within itself. The compression and the frequency and the vibration and the wave comes later. Is that our understanding?
Yes.
It's different. As he said, creation in the energy dimension is different than creation in the matter state. And I'm not fully understanding that fully either, but I'm just getting a clue that the waves, frequency, compression, vibration is part of the interaction creating matter state.
Yes, if you create, a field reactor, and then you can see that there is this wave-like phenomena that you can sense, which I was discussing, and there is no manifestation of it. You just feel it, and there is no physicality to it. It's change in the warmth or some other sensation, tingling sensation, that kind of thing. But it's not constant, it's changing as you move away from the reactor. And it's in 3 dimensions because you can go above the reactor and you can feel the same kind of change. But as I said, it is dependent on the environment. What is around it is affecting how this wave is coming, or the field pressure changes. That if you think about the magnetic field lines, we have these lines when we draw magnets where all the iron dust accumulate. We do it on a piece of paper. Now think of it in 3D. Earth as the reactor or the magnet, and with all this magnetic, it's not magnetic field line, it's like magnetic field onion skin. And you have, certain you have the boundaries of onion skin, and then you have the meaty part, each skin. And so it's kind of like that. The field also is kind of like that. It feels like that. So, you know, when Mr. Keshe drew the picture of brain, he said, you know, emotions, some emotions are close to the soul, some are further away from the soul, the feel of the soul. So it's kind of like these waves of different types. And so once we start to use the emotion and the subtleties and interaction of not just one emotion, but several, it's kind of creating a structure like that of a little more complex then, because see, I mean, even, okay, let me go back to our GANS boxes, CO2 boxes. In CO2 boxes, there are when they did spectroscopy on the material that came out, or the GANs that came out, they found 22 different materials. But in the box, we are just making CO2. That's the predominant GANs, but there are others. So there are field. Mr. Keshe uses several words, and I don't know which one word means. Means what, you know, there is a difference of the field between the two plates, which is 6, which is carbon field. But then as you move away from the field, there is the addition is going on, field add together. And depending on the, like in case of cup 1, you have the coil type of structure where the multiplication and power to the power of field happens as well. So the cup 1 is an extremely complex field dynamics. You can work it out, but it takes a bit of effort. At least some level of it. Like
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that cup of life 1 you're referring to.
Yeah.
He said
no, cup 1. I'm referring to particularly cup 1.
He said it looks simple because we made it that way, but he said it would take man centuries to understand what's going on inside that cup.
Well, there are many.
How far we are away from a full understanding. Go ahead. I don't mean to.
It's not full understanding. If we employ all our computers on the planet, and Mr. Keshe talked about it, and I know what the dynamics is so complex, they won't be able to compute it. We don't have tools to compute the complexity of cup 1 field generation. It's very complex. But, you know, you can work it out. It's kind of like, you know, when I showed the picture of gold or iron, it looked complex, but you see very concrete structures. But as further, there is that several main structure interacting with each other creates the complexity. And that's the same thing in any plasma creation. You have the basic dominant fields, and then these dominant fields interact with each other, and they create further details to the lace. So you have the basic structure of the lace, but there are intricate patterns that emerge out of the interaction with these basic shapes. And this is what is in our GANS boxes. This is what, whether it's cup 1, even in CO2 boxes. So, or in the creation of material, or the one ray unfolding in its multiplicity in the creation process, from universe down to atoms.
Ike, anything you'd like to say or add? I see Rick has come back. Maybe he's ready to proceed. I don't know if he actually left.
Master, so when that complication, what are you attributing it to? Is it the spiral and then the movement of the field based on the position of the spiral? And does the number of spirals part of the variables?
Well, number of spiral creates what do you call it?
I remember when
power. It increases.
Gianni was
Yes,
talking, Mosfek, about, he said, if you just have a plate, you have one field, but if you have a spiral, then you have a multiple interactions of fields. Is that?
it's not just multiple, it's to the power. So your field strength changes very rapidly. It's, think MAGRAV, but MAGRAV is much more complex because it has like about 144 or somewhere in that range of interactions. So, but you can create the same kind of interaction. Let's say, let's take the bottom of the star formation. You have 3 points, right? And then there is a flow through the points. There is a field flow that's circulating in these 3 points. But the flow happening among the 3 elements. But now imagine a spring around that whole flow. That's your MAGRAV spring. So just creating a flow creates the spring. Or if you create the spring, it creates the direct flow. So you can go either way, and you can modulate using the two. So there's all kinds of tricks you can play, but the coils give you ideas of, like, there is a central flow through the coil, and and the flow by the coil, you can actually, it's not the same in every part of the coil because the elements of the coil are interacting with each other. And so in the middle of the coil, the interaction is much stronger than the 2 edges. So there is a gradient of field as well, which is causing the flow that's going through the center. Unless there is a gradient, there is no flow, and the coil is creating the gradient. This is, just think about each turn of the spring is interacting with each other, not just the one adjacent to it, but the one even at the farthest edge of it. And each of these interaction is different. And imagine the combination you can think of. Each element interacting with every other element.
Right. And we see the spring and we see the wire. This is kind of a matter state, but as Mr. Keshe has reminded us, that he's using the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. So when we see these type of drawings, I think we can try to relate it to what's happening within our own structure and reaching the energy understanding using the matter state as an example or a pedagogical tool.
Yeah, most like it's kind of a never ending when you think of it. I just in my mind I observe it, like you're right. All the computers or AI cannot compute that because the dynamism is creating a different environment, creating different types of pressure or interaction. So the one interacting with the other one might not be the same coming back. So
yes,
it's ongoing.
Yes, and I mean the emotion is a very, very powerful tool in this. So once we start experimenting with emotions, interact within ourselves and with the surrounding, you start to get the feel of how to handle this kind of complexity. You want to create a spaceship? Think of a spaceship and it gets created. Basically that. And all the details come with it. It's not just the spaceship. So, you have to have enough emotion to specify the basic structures of it. And, some of it will, by its very integrity, will manifest properly on its own, although you may not have to specify every detail. Think of cooking. Cooking is a very good example of it. you have used a number of ingredients, you mix them together, and you have to have a certain discipline in going about it. Otherwise, if you mess up one thing, it will mess up the whole thing. So, cooking is really a very I'm very much into cooking, so I know a little bit. Also, so it's a very complex chemical or reaction happening, but in the end, it's a coherent dish, and it tastes good. Taste is once again feeling the emotion, and if you just change one of the main spices, it will completely mess up the whole thing. So the cooking is perhaps the best example of emotion. Those who are good cooks, they are very connected with the emotion, the feeling of the food. They don't even have to taste it to know that it's happening, right? Just from the feel of it, just the aroma of it and things like that. So there are clues. The emotion is really much more powerful than our mathematics that we so admire. So let's try to
Get a
admire
form of control on that.
Yes, we have to develop the control over emotion, really. Just like the cook does his cooking or her cooking. All right, I think Rick is ready to move on. Are you?
Rick, you'll have to open your mic.
Oh, I was talking away with my open mic, but the other mic wasn't open. Yes, thank you. And I was just saying that this could be a good conversation to continue into the Keshe Plasma Reactor group. Some of the details of the interactions can be discussed there. And that starts at the 7 a.m. Central European Time tomorrow on Wednesday, the 21st of January. Yes, I'm back, but my sound is not back still for some very strange reason. I'm wondering if there's something in the sharing Moshfek where you shared the sound but aren't able to give it back or something. Was there any different switches that got switched during the sound sharing?
Rick, we're just seeing the silhouette on the background. And maybe you want to put a background on.
What happened is walking as a different user, so it brought up the what do you call it, the audio system. Usually I turn off the audio system by default, but that time the audio system, my computer audio was coming through, but that shouldn't cause any problem, but who knows?
Really?
And I think the Zoom setting has changed. I mean, it looks different today. As you know, Zoom periodically gets adjusted and it gets complex and more difficult to use every time.
Yeah, I thought maybe I hadn't upgraded to the latest, but I am updated, so I don't know. It's a mystery. I think that I won't be able to play the audio in our last video, but that's okay. We'll just have to have a silent video to end the program. Maybe we should carry on into our needs and wishes.
Yes, my dear. Thank you.
Okay, I'll remind folks that we'll have 30 seconds of silence after each wish for the implementation of the wish.
Thank you, my dear. Before that, there's sharing. I will read from Guillaume that I feel, he says, or maybe she, I feel the workshop has changed in shape and strength. It's nice to feel in here different strength by Achuak. But yes, my dear, the field strength always change in a level of understanding as we understand. And it is always, as universe is always in motion, every energy level is in motion. So as Moshek said, from the universal wave to the wave of the atom. And so we always moving, so the strength also. And this is, as you have that feeling of beauty, this feeling of like, goodness, the feeling of a loving condition you are feeling. It is like moving in this level of understanding with the knowledge shared, we are sharing. So this interaction is very beautiful, my dear. You have said that we are interacting each other with each other in this level, that the motion has created this more. It is not one individual, it's all of us creating this level. So in this newness, it is always like transmuting in motion. Thank you for sharing, my dear. Anybody else has something to share, my dear Rick? Or we
In YouTube, 2005 Norway says, is emotion another name for field in motion?
emotion is field. Emotion is all field strength, my dear. Energy in movement. So here we can say yes, my.
What Mr. Keshe said, energy in motion, emotion. Take the E of the energy and add the motion to it. Emotion is motion, really, with an E attached to it.
So is the field in motion the same as energy in motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
so is emotion more of a field in motion or energy in motion? And was not energy in motion a magnetic field?
Energy, you have the potential energy and the kinetic energy. When it's in action, it has to be in motion. Otherwise, that means there has to have interaction. When there is no interaction, field is contained, then there is no feeling associated with it. So the emotion, by definition, has to have interaction. That's how I see it.
I think also you got the fields of the origin, like we learned today, and the fields of the vibration. So I think there are both energy in motion, but one is higher than the other. One is connected with the origin. Like you can have the emotion of the creator. The creator has emotion, and you will have a different of emotion of a man.
And as he said to us recently, even time is made up of magnetic fields. So it's all, as Ike likes to say, magnetic fields in motion and in direction.
Yes, my dear. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Stefania. Thank you, my dear Mark. Thank you, my dear Marshall. Yes, of course. When the waves of emotion, we say, usually we say, the waves of emotion, the brain waves, the waves of love. We don't say frequency of love or frequency of emotion. No, we say waves of emotion came, and I felt it. A compression breakthrough comes, and the magnitude changes, kind of that, of physicality of the energy level also. So this is how it works. Thank you. Thank you so much, my dear. Rick, if there is no other sharing, then we can proceed to the wishes.
Yes, I think we can do that.
Oh, thank you. We, the Universal Council, give from our soul collectively to protect all the world and Iran from all evil. Our wish is our command. We are present. We, the Universal Council, give freely from our soul to elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve peace in the Middle East. Now, our wish is our command. We are present.
I have Stefania for this wish, if she's available.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Um, we, the Universal Council, give from our soul for protection of those living with a fear in natural disaster areas, and our soul wish to help and cover all emotion and physical needs.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls of the leaders and the population throughout the American continent to live in harmony, respecting each nation as equal. Our wish is our command.
We, the Universal Council, give through our soul that Russia and Ukraine can find peace for the sake of all the families of the planet.
And now by playing the game, I have a definite feel where that land mass area of Sudan is. Of course, the soul has its own GPS, but it's now comfortable to feel that the physicality kind of can target that land area with this wish. So we're directing it right there in the game. Thank you for the game of peace and enlightenment. It's helping us understand a little bit more about the structure of this planet. And actually, we can pinpoint the location. I just went back to the game to confirm, but it's just below Egypt. And then, of course, there's southern Sudan. So this is where we're directing our energies. We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls of the leaders involved in conflicts in Sudan and other areas only by greed. with unconditional love and inner peace, so that they respect the lives of all population because they are foreign and free. Sorry, the sun was sort of in the way there of those words.
Sovereign, Mark.
Sovereign. Okay, I couldn't quite see it. I thought it said foreign. Yes, that they are sovereign and free. And these are our wishes, and our wishes we command.
Okay, that's the end of the wishes, but we do have another question from YouTube 2005 Norway, who says, is the creator another term for plasma that has absorbed more fields than it needs itself, leaving excess energy that can be used for creation and spread around?
Yes, it is. It can be, as according to you and the understanding. Of course, it can be.
And at one point, Mr. Keshe asked us, is the creator just one big neutron that keeps splitting and dividing and absorbing and splitting and dividing in this continuation of creation?
Yes, of course. It is always going on, you know. The creator created us in his image, and we are creating more, like compression again happening to be in this magnitude, to be manifested again, kind of that, you know. So plasma, or the seed, the monad, or the universal plasma, or an individual plasma, we are all connected and creating in this motion every time, going through this level of emotion, collecting the essence and giving it back, like that, you know. It is always like that. So this enlightenment, and then this compression breakthrough, my dear, it is always happening in our physical body, in the physical condition, in the energy level. So this is what it is. Thank you. It is absolutely.
And Ascension mentions after that, in response to 2005, does this take into account that we all have the creator within us?
Yes.
And I think
we
that's
all
what
have the
you just
creator
said, Shweta, yes.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Keshe indicated he considers his soul the soul of the creator, his physicality the earth, and the soul of physicality the atmosphere.
Yes, well, yes, Mark, absolutely. In some meditations, well, we say, in initiate to the meditation, we say, I am the soul, kind of that, and I am earth. Like, I am the Brahma, and I am the Prithvi, I am the earth. So this is so much in beautiful, you said. Thank
Yes.
you, thank you.
I made the man in the image of myself, just a different strength, a different amount, and a different size, in a way.
Well, I believe that brings us to the end of our program.
Yes, for now. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude from the core of my heart. Beautiful souls, beautiful, beautiful souls. And we are here to serve, not to be served, the key of everything. So I will say, join Keshe Foundation to be in this game of peace and enlightenment. The game of illusion is over. The game of peace and enlightenment has started. Join. So beautiful. Thank you. And I will say, welcome, 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 Suswagatam into the beautiful, beautiful beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute organization. Welcome, welcome to the beautiful souls welcome, welcome to the beauty of the universal souls. We are all so cosmic, we are. So, thank you and welcome to the beautiful, beautiful beauty and totality of all souls in existence. So, thank you so, so much, dear beautiful souls. Thank you, thank you. And join, follow, be in love, come home. Thank you, the Universal
Okay.
Council.
I only need little words. I'll say thank you so much because we remember at least we believe when you create. You create, you believe because we are the soul of the peace. We construct the peace. We construct the environment and we construct the all living around it. Thank you so much for give beautiful emotions like a one soul. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lissy, and thank you for putting together the presentations as well. Stefania had a hand up, but oh, she's gone now. I guess she didn't. She just wanted to say thank you, I believe. Okay, that brings to a close our 414th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. And thank you and to all the members and support members of the Universal Council for putting together today's presentation and presenting it. And our next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, as I mentioned earlier, and that will start tomorrow, Wednesday, January 21st at 7 a.m. Central European Time. And we usually go for several hours discussing and showing things of the plasma variety. If you have any technical questions or projects you'd like to show, then that format is a good way to do that. Open to the public again tomorrow, January 21st, starting at 7 a.m. on the same Zoom channel. Let me see what else. Well, we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop, of course, coming up on Thursday as per usual. And so far as you know, that'll be at the 9 a.m. Central European Time starting time. All right, I guess that's it. I'm going to play
and then the motion of dance and clap, clap.
Well, you might have to do this dance and clap in silence because I don't think it's going to play the music. So
it is in our heart.
Rick, perhaps you can hum it. You must know it by heart. I think we all know it.
How about we get Shweta to sing instead? That would be good. Or we can always just kind of clap along to the song in her head.
Clap and dance, beautiful souls.
We'll let you put your imagination to it and call it a minute of silence, but call it a minute of clapping and dancing. What was that?
But you could show the flight unit.
Yes, I'll show the video. It'll play for a minute, but I don't think the sound will sound. And maybe it will. Maybe a miracle will come through, but it won't allow me to even select the sound switch right now for some very strange reason.
The sound is I love you.
Okay, hold
thank
on.
you.
Here we go.
Sorry, Rick, have beautiful comments at the chat. You see? Thank you.